Just give me a signal. Can you, am I good, Michael? Recording is on.
Can hear the room, so we are good to go. I'm going to help you go over this. So,
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shantz. Welcome, everybody, to the nicer classroom than ours. It's just a little bit bigger, so I'd like to welcome you to the IO Psych open house today. And we're going to talk about two different things today, our new undergraduate certificate and the IO master's program. I'm coordinator of the certificate. Dr. Morganson is coordinator of the master's program, and Dr. Casson and Dr. Shantz, both integral members of our IO faculty. So first, the work and organizational psych certificate. How many of you are enrolled in the HR certificate? We're going to change the name. Not for you, and not if you sign up this year, not for you either. But in the past, it's been called the HR certificate, Human Resources Certificate, because when we learn how to apply psychology at work, that directly transposes to human resource management. But we decided to label it closer to IO psychology, and also there's a new undergraduate HR major in the College of Business, and people are going to start getting involved. So this will be for next year's university. And one of the reasons I think this is such a good idea, if you want to sign up for it, is that you spend more time at work than doing practically anything. And psychology is particularly useful in dealing with the human issues that we encounter in the workplace. So we developed this certificate quite a while ago to send a signal to employers that, hey, I've taken a bundle of classes related to how to apply my psychological background to the world of work. Do that in resources, you can do that in training, do that in research, consulting, and management. So you can get this certificate if you're an undergrad psych major here. Certificates you can double dip on classes. So it's required here that you take social psych, so that counts. I know that you're in diversity in the workplace already, so that counts. And then if you plan your electives carefully, you can take industrial psych and organizational behavior and count those towards both the major and the certificate. And then you have to have one. You want to move that chair over and get down here. Okay. And then one upper division elective, that could be something like positive psych with Dr. Calvin, great class. Maybe human factors with Dr. Cass, who's back there. That's a terrific class.
Well, thank you.
All right. And so if you want to know what's in the certificate and have questions about electives, that's me. To sign up for the certificate, Dr. The advisor, Susan Drehos, is the one who signed you up for that certificate. Any questions about that?
When's like the deadline to complete that, like to sign up? Is it any time throughout your duration of school?
Okay.
Or is it like,
Couple little rules.
Next week.
You have to sign up for it before you complete it.
snap?
Yeah, and you have to also put in a form that says, I finished it before you graduate.
Oh,
So if you don't do both the forms, even if you've taken all the classes, you don't get the certificate.
okay.
Good? Okay. Any other questions about that? Look, if you're taking these classes anyway, I highly recommend this. It's a good deal. All right, and what we want to do is we want to make this certificate, it's us teaching it, the four of us in IO, and it's a really nice way to prepare for our IO master's program. Dr. Chance?
Go ahead and speak up a little louder.
A little louder? Okay,
Because of the Zoomer.
okay.
Thank you.
So I thought I'd give you a little spiel about what IO psychology is. It's an academic discipline. It blends research, theory, and practice to understand human behavior in the workplace. The I comes from industrial psychology and scientific management during the Industrial Revolution. It's a little old-fashioned, but IO psychologists still differentiate between I and O. The O stands for organizational. We study people and organizations. And the philosophy of our master's program is scientist practitioner model. That's, we use science to inform practice and make good decisions for the workplace. Good so far? You can get exciting, well-paying careers in corporate HR, consulting, government, research. Our program is ranked among the best in the United States by Psych, which is our national body. We emphasize practical experience, although you can do a thesis as well. We have a network of successful graduates. Did we ever figure out what year the program started? What year did you graduate?
I graduated from the program in '89, and it was probably a good decade, at least before.
So it's one of the oldest master's programs in IO in the country. We should figure out what year it started, somewhere around 1979. Small classes and faculty mentorship, internship, or thesis option. Some recent internship sites, we had people go to Southwest Airlines, the USDA Department, US Department of Agriculture, Sacred Heart, Net Pinnock Navy Testing Center, Navy Federal Credit Union, and also, oh gosh, we had somebody go to BMW last year, and Walt Disney World in their corporate marketing, which was very cool. Where are our graduates? Eileen Lineberry, she went on from here, decided she hadn't had enough, and she went on to DePaul and got her PhD, and she's now doing leadership consulting, which is very exciting. Eric Middleton, he went to Net Pinnock and worked there for 3 years, and thought, you know, I want to get my PhD, so I went to Claremont Graduate School, and now he works for the MD Anderson Cancer Center, and he married one of my former colleagues, and I introduced him. I can't promise that for you. Ramsey, he's at Stenson. Where did he first go?
I want to say
UPS, right?
FedEx or one of
FedEx
those,
or
one of
UPS?
those places that deliver stuff.
Yeah. Okay. In HR. We have somebody who's a learning consultant, Amanda. Heather is one of my students who's now in organizational development. Kayla works for the California Public Utilities Commission. Brittany is a director of the Leadership Institute for Ascension Hospital Sacred Heart. All right, so what gets you there? We have a 42 credit hour program. You take advanced org, training, development, personnel selection, and appraisal, human factors, research design, stats, legal issues, group dynamics, org change, an internship or a thesis, and then 3 electives. And we encourage you to be strategic on your electives. They just have to be approved by the coordinator in advance. And we've identified some interdisciplinary opportunities across campus in human resources, human factors and training, applied analytics, by the way, that's a hot field right now, and occupational health psychology. Okay, any questions so far? All right, so one of the things our program is known for is throwing our students in the deep end and having them work on projects for real clients, right? It's not too deep out there. We'll save you if you're drowning.
Yes.
So I just picked out some examples. Last year, we did a project in OD for the strategic plan, and we got thanked in the strategic plan. Very nice of the president. United Way, Gulf Coast Enterprises. In personnel selection, we've had projects at Sandy Sansing, Department of Music, police. And then training needs assessments, we've done our animal hospital, Baptist Hospital, Independence for the Blind, Navy Federal, and Oops Alley. Guess you have to know how to spray the disinfectant into the bowling shoes, right?
We didn't really worry too much about that.
That's not a difficult skill.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah, okay. I thought that was gonna be a job description. What do you need to do to apply? Now, you might not know, we're trying for the first time ever. How many of you are December graduates? I've asked this before. We're actually gonna try a December admission cycle. So that, for spring. So the deadline is November 1. But you don't have to take the GRE, so that's a big plus. You have to apply online, pay your $30. You have to have over a 3.0. Oh, no interview, sorry. And you have to have done well in your research methods course. 2 letters of recommendation, preferably from faculty, and a personal statement. And we're asking for a more targeted, oh, that's where it is. Yeah. We're asking for a more targeted personal statement this time. What led you to IO's potential future career? What interests you in particular? What are your prior experiences with group projects or teams, and how would you describe a good team member? What professional skills would you like to develop, and how does UWF IO assist you in these things? And discuss how your research methods or stats prepared you for this program. So, the personal statement is part of applying for graduate school. Is anybody applying now for various, what area? Forensic psych? Have you done your personal statement yet? Generally, they're generic, but we found that the generic ones didn't tell us much about how you would fit with our program. So we're asking you to be a little bit more specific this time. I'm sure you'll hate that. But, oh, by the way, I'm really good at it. So if you want to bring your statement by, I can give you a hand. I have to channel you. And sometimes I can do that, sometimes I can't. I've been to medical school twice. All right, that's all I had actually. And so any questions about that?
So you're not doing interviews at all for this next?
We are gonna do interviews, but they're gonna be informational interviews. We've decided not to score them, but we have found that it's really helpful if you get to talk with us about what the program looks like, see if it's a good fit. That's right? Yes.
So undergrad research is not a requirement, like undergrad research?
No, it's not, but it looks really good, and you can definitely work that into your statement in point 4. Yeah, so you know how the undergrad research is particularly useful because, for one thing, you can have a faculty member who knows you well and in a little bit more informal setting, write something other than, yeah, they got an A and they wrote a good paper, right?
Who is a good fit for your program beside the requirements? What are you looking for?
Okay, so that is a great question. And what we need is, we're looking for people who are willing to work together and work in teams to be scientist practitioners and apply theory to specific things. And then also to have some intellectual curiosity about the theory and its application. So I think one of the things that draws us apart from for instance, an MBA, which you might be considering, is that, in fact, a lot of IO psychologists teach in College of Business because it pays better. But the MBA tends to be more outcome focused. You know, you take finance, you take organizational behavior, you take economics, you know, it's like, what's the bottom line? And what I love about psychology is it's more process oriented. You know, how do we do this for both the benefit of the employee and the benefit of the organization? Does that make sense? That's really IO. That's really the difference between IO psychology. And we tend to do that from theory and research. And it tends to be more application in schools business. Does that help? So a willingness to work in teams and work hard for each other, and be process oriented, and particularly in applying theory and stats to the problems that you study. You guys want to chime in on anything, or did I nail that?
I think you hit it. I think critical thinking, creative problem solving are big things that I look for.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, so this was the boring part, and you can get a copy of this presentation from us if you want. And now I'm going to turn off the projector. I stepped out of the screen. I'm going to turn off the projector. And I'm going to leave because I am giving a talk. Oh, I had a nice graduation photo there. Never mind, you missed it. Oh, and I had a little thing where I introduced you. I'm gonna let you do that, Dr. Chance.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming. We have some great speakers for you today. Shaniqua has just graduated from the program last spring. So really awesome to have an alumni come kind of talk about her experience and see if you have questions for her. We also have Madison and Courtney who are year one. So they just started this term and they are getting the full effect of those applied projects in both Dr. Morganson's class and Dr. Cass's class this term. So I will let them share their experiences. We'll have Shaniqua go first and then Madison and then Courtney. Cool.
So for me, I guess preparation was a little bit different. I graduated in 2016 with my bachelor's in psych, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I went to work. I had already worked at Krispy Kreme as a team member, supervisor. So after graduating, I actually went into management, and I did that for about 5 years. I got to the general manager level, and I wasn't happy because I wasn't able to help the people that I work with in the ways that they deserve to be helped. So I, after about a year of that, I had already been looking into programs. I didn't have a lot of research experience. I did make pretty good grades, and I wasn't really sure if I could get in because it had been so long since I got out of school. But I actually came to visit campus and I talked to Dr. Cass, Dr. Chance, and everyone, and I actually got to talk to someone who was in the program. And it really really resonated with me. After all the research that I had done on what you could do with IO, particularly in like quick service and things like that, I knew it was a good fit. So I applied. I had not taken the GRE. That was one thing that I had to do. It was really hard for me, but it actually, it worked out. And I was able to start, I think I applied in like January or February, and I was able to start in August. So that's my journey to it. My experience in the program was really, really good. I learned so much. It was one of the hardest things that I've done so far, but so very much worth it. I met a lot of people. I studied a lot. I actually stopped working to focus full-time on the program. But after my first year, after a lot of the classes were done, I was a little bit older, so I needed to work. And I talked to the professors and asked if I could do internship during my final year of the program. And I did that. I worked at Navy Federal through the last year of the program. And again, it was difficult, but it's so totally worth it because I got to apply what I was actually learning in the program in my internship in real time. My internship was in change management, which is an area that I haven't had yet. So as I was going through Dr. Schneider's class, her OD class, I was actually taking what I learned in the program and then taking it back to work to really get the full understanding and come full circle. So I actually graduated in May, and my internship at Navy Federal didn't end until July. But I applied around and a job actually opened at the company that I started with while I was in college. So I actually am now working as a division training manager for Krispy Kreme, working on all things training related. We are currently kind of like revamping our whole training program. So I'll get to be a part of the program design, the program implementation. I'll get to help evaluate it to see if it's working or not. I also actually have a team, like I'm responsible for building a team of trainers. We actually just did a new store opening in September in New York. So I got to lead a team of trainers in doing that and kind of help them through that process because a lot of them it was their first time. So I get to do a lot of coaching. It's kind of like a grandma. I get to do a little bit of everything. I really enjoy it. And I also get to help those people that were me a couple of years ago. From the program, I always say I owe the program so much. I learned so much. I got to work with very knowledgeable people and professors and very hardworking people in my cohort. I got to, I think it was that application of what we were learning that really helped me, and it still helps me now as I'm kind of thinking through how, like the best way to build training for these different positions within the company. So very grateful. I definitely would do it all over again, even though it's very difficult. I would 100% do it again. And I think that if you are thinking about a career in IO, it's definitely something to deeply consider. Because I mean, the benefits are great, but truly helping a company, and for me, I like helping the company is good, but like truly helping people is something that you can really do in this field. And I think that's more important to me than anything else. That's my little experience here and what I'm doing now. Any questions?
Can you please tell us about your obstacle and difficulty to the process and afterward?
I had a mountain of obstacles and difficulties. I think the biggest one for me was just more so than anything that I did personally was just being out of school for those 5-6 years and having to come back to it. It was like learning how to learn all over again because I've been out of the cycle for quite a while. obstacles, like, I think that was like the biggest like hurdle that I got over, but there's help everywhere. I took like advantage of all of like anything possible that UWF offered to help me get back to like that optimal learning place. I took advantage of it. They have academic success workshops, they have study coaches, like anything you think of, they have. And that really helped me get through it. While I was in the program, my dad actually died. It's okay. And the professors were so understanding. I was actually doing the classes and internship at the time, and both were very understanding. I try not to take too much time off, which is probably bad for me, but they gave me the space to be able to do that if I needed to do that. I would say it's definitely a program where you can approach, like the professors are very approachable and willing to help you in whatever way possible. I mean, that's really good. Just, it's a really good program to be in, not just for the academic side, but for the culture side too. They truly care about your success and about you and what you want to do when you get out. And they're, I don't know, I spent a lot of time with some of the professors just and like talked about what I wanted to do, talked about like personally what was going on. I don't know, it was a really good experience for me. And I recommend it for anybody else too.
I'm a quiet talker, so I'll speak a little louder. When I was preparing to go into grad school, I was very unsure of what direction I wanted to go. I was really torn between counseling and IO, and they're very different programs. And so you really have to do a lot of self-reflection and think about the past experiences you've had in classes. And really, I highly recommend talking to your professors, especially the IO professors, if that's something you're interested in, to kind of help you make that decision. I also talked to some students in the program, and that really secured my decision in going into the IO program. And then once I was sure that this was the right fit for me, the application process, really it's a lot of getting all your professional documents together. Luckily, during your capstone course, you do a lot of that. I highly recommend that you go to the Career Development Center to help you with your letter of intent and to help you with your resume or any cover letters that you might have to do. And if you interview at all, they can help you with interviewing skills as well. The other thing I did to prepare is I looked around for funding. So fill out your FAFSA, ask the psychology department what funding they might have, and then shop around for any grad assistantships if you need help paying for college. Now, some challenges that I've experienced in my first semester in the IO program is definitely a work-life balance. You have a lot to do, so I'm in 3 courses, and 2 of the classes have really big projects. You'll work with a local organization, but it's really great because you have that applied experience that you can showcase on your resume once you graduate from this program. So it really makes you employable. The other challenge is, like Dr. Schneider was saying, you're kind of thrown in the deep end. They're there for you, they'll help you if you're drowning, but you really need to create a schedule for yourself of when you're going to complete things. You need to talk with your teammates and make sure everything's getting done on time. And then for games, I would say the best part of this program really is the applied experience that you're getting with the local organizations you're working with. And then you're also getting a lot of experience working on a team, which is valuable in any industry, really. You have to know how to work with each other, play to your strengths and weaknesses. And then I would say the other gain is project management. You really learn how the life cycle of a project goes. My advice for you is definitely do your research on the program. Make sure it's a good fit for you. And then come to the Career Center, have them help you with your resume, get that all squared away. I would refresh yourself on any research methods that you have. I would definitely focus on validity and reliability, the differences and the different types in those. And then just any other basic things like knowing the difference between an independent and dependent variable and things like that. And then lastly, I would join SHRM now. It's open to undergraduates and it can kind of give you some experience in what a career in IO might be. Any questions?
I looked up that part, you said sure.
Sure, so it's the Society for Human Resource Management. And me, and are you a part of it too? Yeah, she's a part of it. And you are too, yeah. I think the best part about that is you really have a community that you can kind of talk to about human resources if that's something you're interested in. They also have an annual case competition, which I'm going to in Orlando this month. What they do is they give you a hypothetical business scenario, something that you might experience in real life. And then you come up with solutions that are research backed and you pitch it to a panel of judges and see if you might win. You compete against all these other schools and it's open to graduate and undergraduate students.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. I highly recommend you join.
So you said you were struggling between this and counseling psychology. Do you like remember what helped you like really choose one? Because that's kind of my struggle right now.
So I had talked to Dr. Strometz, he's the psychology department chair. And the way he explained it to me was, you know, in counseling, you're helping people at their worst and you're kind of bringing them up to here. They might not ever reach their full potential, not full potential, but they might not go where you're wanting them to be. And it's a lot of emotional labor. And whereas in IO, you're still helping people, you're helping people at this level, they're already functioning at a normal level, and then you bring them up to here and help make their work lives better. And so with that, you're still making a change in the world, and that's really what sold it to me.
Hi, I'm Courtney. For me, for preparing for the program, I was in my final semester in last fall. So I was basically around this time having the same IO house open house. I was in Dr. Schneider's class for organizational behavior. I really enjoyed that class. I highly recommend it if you have any interest in psychology. It might actually help you decide more if you're not in your final semester. For me, I went to the program's website and I looked at what are the courses? Are they interesting to me? Do I find any interest in what are they going to be teaching me? So I looked at that. I also looked at the department's YouTube page. There's a YouTube page, which is very helpful. It has some videos in it that explain what is IO psychology. There's a video for of a student that was in the program that was explaining what he's doing in his first semester. So basically what we did, but on video. And then I looked into what applied program, like what applied project part, what I like to do. Is it HR? Is it? So I liked HR. So I joined SHRM in our semester this year. I also looked into what's the job outlook? What type of jobs can I do? What's the pay like? What do they do in the job? What's the different parts that they can do? I have been gaining a lot of experience in the two projects that we're doing. We're actually team members on one of the projects. So I'm doing a needs assessment for the library. And then I'm doing a job analysis for the College of Health for a future position. Student recruitment, director student recruitment. So for anyone that's interested, I would look at the INP courses. So that's the industrial and applied psych courses. So that's organizational behavior, industrial psychology, and your class of workforce diversity. Those are really going to be helpful. I didn't take the industrial psychology class because I was in my final semester and I was going to graduate. But I do think that would be helpful if you're not graduating yet, but it could help have more skills in it. Be prepared to work in teams, like she said. You're going to be doing a lot of projects, and that's something that drew me to it. I like in-person classes. I like to have an applied project, to have a hands-on way of learning. It's really helpful for me. Be prepared to speak in class, which I'm still having some difficulty doing. We're both quite quiet people. But it'll help you come out of your shell more easily. But it's really quiet. Yes, so I did, for me, I started with my AA in elementary education. Then I came here and I changed my major after one semester to psychology. I didn't really like those classes, so I changed to psychology, something that I really liked, and I really enjoyed my classes that I took. But in my final semester, that organizational behavior class really helped me to like focus on IO psychology.
Another question about insurance, do you like apply online or do you speak to like an instructor, like I'm gonna be a part of this?
So we had a meeting that was like from our second year for our intern, they had like an introductory meeting. So we meet every 2 weeks, and so what you'll do is she'll have like the president will come in and say, this is what SHRM is about. You can apply online through SHRM's website. I think it's $50.
So the national share, the national group, you join that, it's like a $50 a year student level membership. Once you do that, we send it to the director of membership for the student chapter, and that's all you need. I think you can find more details in Argo Pulse. Are you familiar with the student groups in Argo Pulse? Search for UWF Share in Argo Pulse, and you'll have the whole list of the officers for the group there. Now, being from local, like you finished your undergrad here at UWF, what about the classes you had here in the program prepared you for the IO program?
Presentation experience, that was a little messed up because of COVID, but anytime you have some public speaking at UWF, that helps. I think really just the quality of classes that IO professors provide also helped. And then the research emphasis in a lot of the psychology courses also helped prepare us for this.
I like to learn about behavior, so that's something that I like to learn about. So learning about conflict resolution, how someone behaves in some of those issues, really helped me. So for me, it was learning about like some ways to apply behavior in an organization, how they can choose.
Reinforcement theory and training, you want to give them a little something so they want to keep going with the training, keep learning, wanting to learn, and then eventually do better in their job.
So if only the PowerPoint, right, it said internships or the thesis or the internship.
I did this.
I plan to do the internship track.
So you guys can all think that's better for preparing you for the thesis.
I think the thesis would be better if you plan to do a PhD, maybe, but it also kind of depends on your preference. I want to do the internship because it's kind of foot in the door to that place for a potential job.
And hopefully it's more hands-on.
Site go or is there a collaboration with faculty members and just specific?
So for me, it was a little different because I applied early. And it was like a job hunt for me, like, and I think that's pretty much what it's like for everyone. You go in and you just put in applications. Really with my internship site, they get federal and they hire almost all year. And they have a lot of internship positions, but LinkedIn is a great place to find them too. And then you take where you once you get an internship, I just took it to the IO coordinator. And she kicked off the like paperwork process that goes behind it, but by the end it was pretty much on me.
Pretty accurate. And then we do get some emails from our program coordinator about jobs or internships that are opening up. I know next Wednesday, SHRM is having a meeting for all of us, it's kind of open meeting about the internship track for our program. So that might be something you might be interested in attending.
What time?
Is it 4 o'clock, the usual meeting?
I can check.
Four o'clock.
4 o'clock, and then it's the psychology building, room 134.
And that will be with Dr. Morganson is going to be presenting about the internships with the program, followed by the case competition are going to pilot their proposal before they go try to compete to win the state competition again. So that would be really great to come here. If you're available. No pressure. No pressure.
Yes. It depends. So some classes are combined with the counseling students, like graduate research methods and statistics. I would say it's about 25 students in class, but your other classes mainly with your IO cohort. And so that might be 15, 20.
We have Dr. Cass here too. If you have any questions for him, he runs the training course and what else?
In fact,
Human factors.
Please tell us about your research interests.
my research interest, sure.
You might want to come up because we have Zoom going.
We've got a camera, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I look as far away from the camera as I possibly could. So my research interests are mostly in attentional issues. So distracted driving, for instance, I have a driving simulator in my lab that I study how cell phones affect your driving. Last year, we completed a project where we assessed different types of training simulator. So my area is training, I have a background in training. I used to work for the Naval Air Warfare Center in Orlando, and we did training. We developed and studied and evaluated training. So they had asked us to evaluate a couple of parachute simulators, and that's what we did. One was a VR version and one was a multi-panel version. And we still have the simulator in building 4, if anybody ever wants to come see it. So I do a little bit of that, evaluating training, VR research, virtual reality research, and mostly areas of distraction and attention, situational awareness, which means, being able to identify all the things in your environment and know how to respond to them. So I'm working right now on developing a phone application for teaching nurses how to improve their situational awareness skills. So we're in the development process, but we hope to evaluate it pretty soon.
Any other questions for our panel? I don't see any in the Zoom land. I put up here, we have our little rec cards and flyers about the program itself. And I left up here also cards for Dr. Morganson, who is the current coordinator of the IO program. And Ms. Anika Moore, who is the one who typically starts sending you emails whenever you put in that you're interested in a grad program, especially a grad program from psychology. She starts the process of letting you know if you've got all your pieces into the application to grad school and stuff like that before it comes to the IO faculty to start sorting through. So I'll leave these up here. Any other questions about the program? Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna ask, is there any way that we could access that PowerPoint that Dr. Schneider had, or is that all on the website, for IO already? Like with the class
We can-
list and
We
everything.
can definitely get the PowerPoint from Dr. Schneider. I would think if you could send an email to psych@uwf.edu,
Mhm.
that would be helpful. And also, we're recording the Zoom, so once that's available, we're gonna make it available as well, right?
Thank you.
So, yeah, no worries, we can do that. All right, looks good, and I do have Dr. Schneider's sign-in sheet. If you were part of her class and wanted to have the extra credit for that, so I'm gonna leave it over here on the table. And if you're part of a different class that has offered extra credit for training, I'll have a separate sign-up sheet for you. So much, everyone.